In this lesson, we're going to carry on from the previous lesson where we set up an environment, and we're just going to explore the different components that you have in this trial. So here we are in the Power Platform Admin Center, and there's the environment that I've set up. So we're just going to navigate through the different components. Of course, here we have the Admin Center, the Power Platform Admin Center. We need to go and look at the Microsoft Admin Center, where you'll primarily set up users for your trial environment, and then also the Maker Portal and the Power Apps Studio for your Canvas apps. Then lastly, we're also going to have a look at the model-driven apps and a couple of other components that you have like SharePoint and Teams and so on. So a tour of the entire environment here. Okay, so let's jump into this tour. The first thing that I like to do is just to duplicate the tabs because it saves you quite a bit of time. So I'm just going to right click on the tab here, select duplicate, opens up that tab for me. I click back onto the original tab, and then I go and click on this app launcher. Now the app launcher gives you access to all of the different components that you require. So I'm going to just expand all apps here, although I can see the option that I want. I'm just going to expand that, and I'm looking for admin. Now admin might be further down in the list, so you might need to scroll down to find it, but in this case I do have what I'm looking for, so I'm just going to go and click on admin there. And then once that logs me in, you might need to go through a verification process where you receive a SMS on your phone. We'll talk about that in a later video. So yeah, in the Office Admin Center, two things that I want to draw your attention to. Firstly, users. You can go and add users here. So click on users, click on active users, and I can add a user there. Very simple process. I click on add user and I step through that process. Okay, only thing that you do need to pay attention to is the fact that you need to assign licenses. We'll step through that at a later stage. The licenses that we refer to, of course, is the applications that you have here. So Dynamics 365, that's Dynamics 365 Custom Engagement, and Office 365, whichever one of the plans that you want to use there. So that I get if I go to billing. So go through to billing here, and I can purchase services. So I go and click on purchase services there. And of course, yeah, the process around the trial gives you the Dynamics license. What you want to do is you want to go and add to that Office license, so you have the Outlook component or Exchange to allow you to integrate with Exchange there. So yeah, I'd simply go and select the item that I want to add, the application that I want to add here. I'm going to go and just click here on E3. You will add a E5 because it contains Power BI Pro. So if you're going to play around with Power BI, that is the license that you want to add. I've already done that, so I'm just going to click on E3, Office 365 E3 here, and you'll see here there's my start free trial, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to click on start free trial, step through that process, and add that to your subscription. Okay, so that's that. Once I have added that subscription there, what I want to do next is to go to active users. I want to go back to my users there, and then there I would go and select the users that I want to add the license to. And it's important that once you've added the trial, you need to add the license. Click on manage product licenses, and then you would click on assign more because you're adding to this. So click on assign more, and then you simply go and select the licensing that you want to add. Now in this case, like I said, I've done this already, but I'd go and select a license there and click on save changes, and that would add it for me. In another lesson, I'll take you through that process, and we'll see exactly how to go and set up those users. Okay, for now, it's just a mere fact of looking at the Microsoft Admin Center, the different components. Right, so that is the Microsoft Admin Center. Two things that you need to do there: manage users and add other trials. All right, next we'll go and look at the Maker Portal. To access the Maker Portal, once again, I'd like to just go and duplicate a tab and then click back onto the tab where I was. We're going to use the apps launcher once again, so I'll click on that. You'll see that I've got Power Apps there. That's what I'm aiming for. But as per usual, I can expand that menu so that I can scroll through and see all the options that I have. I'm looking for Power Apps here, so I'm going to click on Power Apps there, and that will then open up the Maker portal for me. So in this case here, once again, it wants me to log in. Now I'm going to skip this because I don't want to talk to you about dual factor authentication or multi-factor authentication at the moment. So I'm just going to skip now for 8 days. It was 14 to start off with until required. We'll talk about that later. So the Power Apps Maker portal opens up. And the big thing here about this Maker portal is checking that environment. Now I'll chat to you with regards to environments in a moment, but when you click on that environment there, it opens up all of the environments that you have available, and you want to make sure that you're working in the right environment. So you select that first off before you access anything else. And then it's a matter of choosing what it is that you want to do. So that's lessons that we're going to complete in the future, or you can run through them on the Learning Portal, the Microsoft Learning Portal, which I highly recommend. But from here, you can go through to apps. On apps, you have a list of apps available in this environment. If you click on Create, it'll allow you to start off your blank canvas app, your blank model-driven app, or your portal. So those are the three main apps that you're going to set up from here. And that is basically the portal, the Power Apps portal. So from here, I'm just going to go back to the admin portal. Just before I go, one thing that I want to mention here is that the address, make.powerapps.com, you can also, of course, just open a new tab and type in make.powerapps.com. Press enter, and that will open up the Power Apps Maker portal for you. All right, so next up, let's go and have a look at some of the additional features there of the Power Platform Admin Center. You'll see here that I have the Power Apps Admin Center still open on a separate tab that we used earlier, but I just want to show you there's a different way of getting to it. So from the Power Apps Studio, if I click here on the settings gear and I go and click on Admin Center, that'll open up the Power Platform Admin Center for me. Now, the first thing that I want to draw your attention to there is in the Admin Center, you've got access to all of the different environments that are set up. So as soon as that loads up, here we go. I have that environment that we've set up. I've got the previous one that I had set up when I started the video recording. I've got my default environment. Now the explanation of these belong to a different video. Once again, it's just simply to know that they're there. Each one of these environments house a set of applications. So you use them to separate applications for whatever reason you want to separate them. But then you also notice once I have that selected, I've got a settings button here, and that allows me to go and configure that particular environment. Configuring those settings belongs to a administration course, so I'm not going to get into that. So one of the other things that I can do here is I can go to this little tab here and I can click on Open Environment, or you would have noticed I can click on Open Environment here as well. Now when I click on Open Environment, it will open up the model-driven apps environment for me and expose those applications, whatever applications I have installed in that particular environment. Once again, different video, but while we're here, let's quickly have a look at how that opens up. Once that opens up in that environment of mine, I've got access to all the different applications that I've installed. So if you remember on the trial that we set up, we selected all the enterprise applications, and you'll note some of them. We've got the customer service hub, we've got field service, I've got the sales hub, and I want to call out project service and field service mobile. So a couple of those applications then. Of course, to access them, fairly simple. I simply go and click on the application that I want to open up, and that will then load that application. And this is a model-driven app. So sales and customer service and field service, they all set up as model-driven apps. All right. So from here, we're quickly going to have a look at Flow. So Power Automate. We'll go and open that and see how you access that. So to access Power Automate, I'm going to use one of the existing tabs that I have there. It is simple enough to access. I go through to the app launcher, and as you can see, Power Automate is there up at the list, but I'm going to expand all apps to show all of the apps. Scroll through, pick up Power Automate and click on that. And of course, Power Automate is where I build my flows that allow me to automate certain processes. Now just take note here, because I have logged into Power Automate previously, it simply pops me into that environment. What will most likely happen is that it will prompt you to sign in, and then just as previously, for the moment, I just clicked on just to remind me again in 8 days. So then I'll set up that authentication. Just something that I want to draw your attention to, once again, very important, is that you select the correct environment to set up your flow in. So up here at the top, you click that little drop down, you select the environment that you want to work in. It's not the end of the world if you select the incorrect environment or you set up that flow in an environment that you didn't intend to. You can export it and import it into the correct environment. Other thing that I want to show you, if I go here to the App Studio, in the App Studio, you'll see that I've got a link here on the left-hand side to flows. That is Power Automate. That is my set of flows that I can work with. So I can access that there and I can set up my flows from there. Next, we'll look at some of the other features that you have available in your D365 environment. In this last section, I just want to highlight the fact that most of your other tools and services and apps you can access here through the app launcher. So if I go and expand that, you're well familiar with that at the moment. You'll see that I've got access to things like OneDrive and Outlook. And if I go down further, Power BI and Teams. And then if you wanted to go and set up something like a Power Virtual Agent, you can go to open up a new tab, do a search for Power Virtual Agents. It'll bring you through to this page, and you can start for free and you can go through that process. But we'll pick that up in a different video. For now, you've got an overview of all the different components. Go and explore the detailed learning on Microsoft Learn. I have prepared a lesson that takes you through MS Learn and how to use that. So go and explore those great resources there. And then I'll provide further videos. I have no intention of duplicating what's on Learn already, but just here and there where I needed to learn a little bit extra or had to receive a little bit of extra explanation on various topics, I'll include those and I'll pop them onto the channel. See you in another lesson, and happy learning.